about like the reasons why, like
Okay.
we're streaming, by the way.
Oh, good. So I guess I shouldn't fart. Or maybe I should. It'd make for good Twitch television. Hi,
Well, only
folks.
if you can fart that loud.
Through the power of the internet.
Can you tell? Can you tell that he did it?
Are you not entertained? Is this not what you wanted?
I'm. Is this what you signed up for? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
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 I do love
Uh.
the alumni shirt, the rating shirt that got sent
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
Kickstarter today. That's a lot of teams.
It's a lot of teams. What
Whew.
Marconin is talking about is our 5-year anniversary raid team alumni shirt for Convert to Raid. Every single raid team that's ever been in existence that we have been told about, at least, is on that shirt. And I think it was above. I think the number of names was above 140. Um, and so we had between the time where we released the image of it in June and now, we had people that were sending in missing team names and said, don't forget ours. And so I had the screen printer. They changed the art and added all the names. So I got it today, and I spent. I'm not kidding. I spent 20 minutes going through that image because there's no rhyme or reason to where these names are. That's how Pat wanted it. So I'm like
Yeah.
trying to find every single one of them before I sent out this update so that I could say, yes, we did add them and I did find them. Because
I looked.
I've had people that have sent me emails and said my team's not on there. And it's like, yeah, it is. You just have to look for
Yeah.
it.
You got to look very carefully.
Yep. So it was, that was so at that same time, one of our committee members, Carolina, had sent me a message, and I said, I think my brain is gonna melt, and she goes, "Oh my dear, you sweet summer child." I started
Oh,
laughing. Oh, I gotta tweet the deets. We're both sniffly today.
me too.
Liz the Dust sniffly.
Oh. In the middle of the summer, what's going on?
I know. This is probably the most that I have spoken in 4 days because I have just been like just babying. I have no idea how long my voice is gonna hold out, but we'll see. We'll see how it
Yes.
goes.
And it'll go about as long as the show does, because as soon as your voice gives out, there goes half the show.
Yes. So I figured out why I was having all those sound issues. Like remember I had to keep making you talk because I couldn't, like, I had a loose wire someplace, and on last Tuesday I got on to do Slaying Demons, with Joss and Nevermore, and I could only hear out of one ear. And I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? I'm jiggling the wire, trying to move it around. I run my hand up the cord, and I see
Yeah.
it's just split.
Oh no.
Yep. Somebody chewed that wire, the second wire. So I got a new one
Could
that's
that be?
nylon covered.
I wonder.
I
Jules, why
wonder,
are you chewing the cord in your sleep?
why am I chewing
I
cords in
mean, it
my
has to
sleep?
be you. Couldn't possibly be anyone or anything else
Any
in the room.
feline
No,
companion?
I
No.
mean that might be a bit of a stretch, but we'll follow that little rabbit down the rabbit hole and see what we can figure out.
Yes.
Hmm.
I don't know who's
May-
doing it, and I don't know when they're doing it because I've never caught them actually doing it. So I don't know which cat is doing it.
Hmm.
It's probably Garrus at this point because I don't think Spike can get up there. There was no chair to be had where this was, so it must be Garrus being his little, like, devious self, which he doesn't chew much, but it's just like those cords. So I got one covered in like thicker nylon on here,
Mm-hmm.
so hopefully that will deter, so we don't have another frayed cord. So it's like, come on, guys, this is what I do. I can't like not hear through my. So I had to use my noise canceling headphones to be able to do the show, and that's freaky. Ugh, so hard to hear with noise canceling headphones, like or hear yourself. And so it was like I felt like I was talking on an airplane, but it was weird. It's like I did not like it. I wanted my new cord, man. Solomio, you don't want that sore throat. I woke up and I felt like I had razor blades in that damn throat, and it was like, what is going on? 2 days later, I was better. Felt better, but it sucked.
Summer cold. Ugh.
Summer colds suck. Hi, Bim. Hi, Moo. Hi, Natani. Welcome, guys. And hi, Eiffels. I don't know who has gonorrhea, but I don't want to know.
I don't know.
I don't want to know.
You have a horde glass. Blasphemy.
I do. This one.
I've
had this for a long time.
We're in Alliance Guild. What are you talking about?
I know. I've had this for a very long time. Personalized glass.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I actually went. The first weekend that I went and did Pokemon Go with my coworkers, I needed to change shirts out of the uniform, and we went to his house, and he just went into his closet because he's a bigger, he's actually like 6'7", so usually his clothes are bigger than my size because he's so tall. But he came out and he threw a shirt at me. No joke, black and red, says "For the Horde" on it. And I looked at it, I was like, what's this? And he looked at me, he's like, yeah, that's why I got it. So I had to walk around in a Horde shirt. It's okay. It was actually kind of fun. It was like Halloween. You're like dressing up for something you don't normally do every day. So,
it's opposite.
It was cool. Yeah.
Well, you do have Horde characters, so it's not like
I do. Yes, I do.
It's not like you were being forced against your will to support the Horde.
No, and I have so many very good Horde friends, like the awesome Mugiver and Natani that are in the chat room.
Yes, and I know they have Alliance characters too. So
yeah, they do, but Mugiver kind of gives it away.
True.
Gives it away that he's the Tauren, but that's okay. I have Mu Conan, so that works out too.
You do. Hi, Tiber. I hope you had a good drive home on Sunday. It was good to see you on Saturday. We had a great time on Saturday at the meetup, the Minnesota meetup.
That's right. I missed you. I missed being there to see you guys.
I know we had a lot of fun. That was I want to say that was probably my my most favorite meetup that we had done, because it was we had an activity for people to do to kind of break the ice, and then people were playing games together, like tabletop stuff together, and it was just like, it was super fun, and people were really comfortable, and it was a good meetup. I was really, really happy with it, and it was so simple. Like we just did this this activity called Human Bingo. Bingo cards, and you have to go around to different people to fill out the bingo cards, like traits, like I wrote out a lot of specific stuff for this people, like has a gnome, plays a gnome as their main, owns at least one console. It's a good thing I wasn't there, right?
That would have been too easy.
But it was like that, and loves pineapple on pizza or hates pineapple on pizza, so you can kind of like start.
I love it. Oh, sweet and savory, yeah. Awesome combination. So awful. Was like nails on a chalkboard for you.
Oh, it's so that's so awful. Like fruit should not be warm like that.
But you've tried it, right?
Yes, and I like. Well, okay. I love pineapple. I don't like warm pineapple at all. Pineapple upside down cake, it has to be cold. It can't be like warm out of the oven. Like there's something about the texture of pineapple that being warm is just weird for me.
What about like morning after leftover pizza? It's been in the fridge since the previous night. It's like cold pizza with pineapple on it.
I don't eat cold pizza ever. I never eat cold pizza. Oof. Ugh. I think that should be a debate. I mean, that should actually be a debate on the internet, is like cold pizza or no, because I hate cold pizza.
Cold pizza, yes.
Oh, no.
It's all of the delicious flavors, but in a slightly different style, and it's easier to eat because you don't have
Yeah.
to wait for it to heat up. And unless you want to put it on like a pan and put it on the stove, you're just going to microwave pizza. The crust gets all soggy and
Yeah,
it's
no, no.
I mean, you don't like that not reheated. So I would rather take it cold. So I am a supporter of cold pizza the next day.
There's
Easy.
it
Just
has to be
reach in, grab it,
reheated.
eat it.
Melted cheese in there too. And Eiffels, I can eat warm apple pie. I can do that. Like, fruit like that I can do warm. That's all right. For some reason, it's pineapple that just people who grill it. I'm just like, what are you doing? It's like black. Look
Grilled
at you.
pineapple. That's so good. It is delicious.
Oh, and MacGyver, I guess I've created a monster. That's all her doing, though. She was the one that tried it. The chainmail. It's great, though. It's such a great outlet. I'm working on I'm doing a lanyard for one of our Kickstarter backers right now. It's a Zelda inspired lanyard. So it's the three blocks of color. Oh, nice. We're going to like
Speaking
slowly.
of lanyards,
So it's for Bartholomew, and it is a block of red, a block of green, and a block of blue with gold connectors, all the way through. So it's going to be a Zelda Triforce lanyard. It's coming out super cool. He's really excited. Can't wait to do that one. I gotta finish that up this weekend. I'm like way overdue because I got sick and then I couldn't do anything because I just had no energy to like move my muscles to do anything. Oh,
you're like you're holding the tweezers and you're holding the pliers and you're like, just can't. I don't know.
It's like
just,
I didn't even want to pick up my arms. Like on Thursday when I had canceled the show, I was just like, I had no energy at all. I couldn't do anything, and it was just like, this sucks. This sucks so much. So I wanted to do all the things.
yeah.
Oh man. So I've got supplies for once I get done with the lanyard projects that I have for people. My new big project is I have the rings to begin it, and I cannot wait. So hopefully I will be able to start that. So just so you guys know, since you're in the chat room anyway, we're here next week. We have a special guest, and I'll tell you guys that about that in the show. But then the following week, we will not be here because I will be in California for work. So we will be off for that week. And then so hopefully I will be able to start working on special stuff when we get back sometime in September. So I was so bummed, dude. We were going to California, and I saw on the internet that Duncan Jones and Robert Kaczynski are doing a special screening of the Warcraft movie, and we are
That's
there.
Right.
We are there. And I can't go because we have networking stuff to do.
What better networking than to see the Warcraft movie?
I know. With Robert Kaczynski and Duncan Jones. Like, we were this close to buying tickets, and Pat was like, no, he got this networking event and that. I'm like, I know. We were there for work, but it sucks. So
Come on, please. Come on, boss.
I know. No, we were being responsible adults. Responsible business runners. So
Dang it.
I know. All right, we're going to be too chatty and not do a show. So let's test
the
sounders. Oh, let's do a ready check. Are you guys ready for a show? Where's my sound? Up, 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 up. Let's try that again. That's better.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Bum, 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 bum. That lanyard matches your shirt today.
Yes, it does.
It really does. You're a cut. With the way I have your video cut, you can only see this much of it, like right here. So, so it kind of bounces on your neck as you go up. Draven, you can't report us in our own channel. It doesn't work like that.
Reported. Be careful, they're going to pull the plug on us.
All right. Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Got my fan off.
Chat room's ready. My fan is on, but you can't hear it. Thank goodness. I love my ceiling fan for that reason. It's the best.
I may have to get one. Just install it up here and make it silent.
Seriously, like you get a decent one, you don't even hear it. It just changes the whole. I mean, you're up in the ceilings all the time anyway. You could totally install a ceiling fan.
I was in an attic for 5 minutes today. Came out drenched because it was like 12:45.
Oh.
So it was middle of the day.
No.
And I kind of walked in and I started to swim in the heat because it's like,
yeah, there's no air moving.
Climbing over things. None at all. None at all.
To Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Come on, it's so hot up here. Come on, let me come down. Where is it? Come on, tell me. Hurry.
Let me out. All right.
Get out. Get to the stairs.
Get out.
Go down. Get downstairs. Get downstairs.
Are you ready? You guys are ready? All right. Let's do this thing.
It's episode 240. Let's go.
240. Episode
240.
240 records in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Tauren Think Tank, the podcast about the Blizzard gamer behind the keyboard.
It's episode 240 of Tauren Think Tank. Today is Thursday, August 10th, 2017. It is 8:14 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We're back. We're sorry we missed a show last week because I got sick. And I feel really bad about that. But I just had no energy to do a show at all. And more about that in a little bit. But first, my name is Jules. And with me as always is the illustrious lanyard-wearing, blue and orange loving person of magedom. He's Mark Honan.
Yes, I am here in all of my blue and orange mage glory.
What is that accent this time?
It was almost Drenai, I don't know.
It was kind of like Drenai-ish.
Yes.
Yes.
I can only reply in strongly monosyllabic phrases. And that's it.
This could be an interesting show if that's all we can do.
Yep.
Yes. So hi, we're both a little bit under the weather still, but hanging in there. I woke up on Thursday kind of feeling like a bus had kind of hit me, and I went to a meeting at Pat's house and I was just not focused at all, and by the time the afternoon hit, all I could do was just lay down and sleep. And when I woke back up, I texted Mark Honan and said, I just can't. I don't even, I can't focus. Nothing. I can't focus on anything. Everything hurt. And it seemed to go away the next day. I was feeling better. We had the Minnesota meetup on Saturday, which went great. And then on Monday morning, I woke up with razor blades in my throat, it felt like. And it was awful. And it was 2 days of razor blades in my throat. And so I just had to cancel everything and just say, all right. Apparently my body is saying, screw you, get some rest and stop doing all this stuff. So that's what I did. This is like the first time I've spoken more than a few sentences since probably Sunday. Yeah.
Well, you sound great.
I hope so. I hope it lasts. I'm like, I hope I don't sound like crap at the end of this. But yeah, so it's just it's been a week, and I'm glad we're back though. We've got some stuff to share with you about things that are coming up and all those great things. But first, we start, as we always do, with Mark Honan and how things are going in your universe.
My universe is going pretty good. I am very tired. The last few days have been very long and very just running around at work is just crazy when your office is a 250-mile radius and you are always in the car, you're always driving, it's always on. If you are I am at the places' houses, and I'm working, and then I'm driving, so then my attention has to be on the road. So there's no point in the day that I get a chance to sit down and just relax. So for hours and hours a day, mostly 12-hour days, it is just constantly going. I forget to eat half the time because we are just going and going, and then it's like then it's time to go home, and then I'm tired, and then I stay in this voice entirely too long. And then if I'm not careful, Jules, I will have this accent for the rest of the show, maybe even the week. We shall see.
Could make for a very interesting workday.
I've thought about that. I've thought about doing that because we have to call people a couple days ahead of time to make sure the appointments are right. And I have thought about doing the accents in that. I've also thought about doing the, hi, my name is Mark Onan, and we're confirming your appointment for Thursday. Between the hours of 8 and noon. Just something like that. That's only if they don't answer the phone, if it goes to voicemail. I think it'd be funny like that. Or
one time and just be like,
yeah.
I don't know I don't know if people would actually notice, or if they would be like, oh yeah, okay.
I think at this point, it'd be expected to have a non-human answer. But whenever I do those, and I am very, there's a couple guys at work that are just like, hey, my name is John. I'm just calling your appointment for this time. We'll let you know we're on the way. Okay, thank you. Bye. That's not good customer service. So I'm like, hey there, Mr. Smith, how are you doing this afternoon? Hey, this is where I'm doing this. We're on your way. It's like the whole showmany thing, but they respond to it and they appreciate it. And then they remember you when you are there, if I'm the one that goes there, because I call for all the guys on my team. So sometimes I'm not there, but others are. Yeah. And they're like, you the one I talked to on the phone? Yes, I am. So I've thought about doing accent voice.
Have you had the you sound like you're on the radio voice thing? Have people said that to you?
In fact, last week I did.
Yeah.
I was talking to a lady and her mom, and they were talking, and the mom was like, "You know what? You've got a really nice voice. Have you ever thought about doing radio or anything like that? You've got a really good speaking voice." And I said, "Thanks." I was like, "Yes, ma'am. Actually, I have a degree in broadcasting, as a matter of fact." So I was like, "Oh, okay, well, yeah." So it does come in handy because you gotta, you have to put on sometime in work. Sometimes, of course, if you're having a bad day, you sometimes can't let that show to your customers because that impacts their experience and their day too. So even if you have tough customers that are in a bad mood and like today kick you out of the house, you have to be nice. Well, so we get to the client's house, and this is where I'm in the ceiling or in the attic, and so we're walking around, we're doing our inspection stuff with work we're gonna do, and then we find some things that aren't up to code. They're actually against Arkansas fire code.
Yeah,
like can't put non-wall rated power cords in the wall. So that's what somebody did when they got their electronics set up. And so we're like, well, who did it? And they were like, just this company did it like 10 years ago. And the company has since, they were like, yeah, we got a good deal on it. And it's like, well, yeah, you got a good deal because they cut corners and they broke the law. So
yeah,
we can't touch that. It's like we've done all this, we've brought in all this stuff, and we're, I want to work. I like getting hours, but it's one of those things where, if we do this work, we're breaking the law, and if something happens, it comes back to me. I lose my job.
Right.
So my job is not worth them enjoying their electronics tonight.
Yeah. So you had to stop the job. Is that what Is that what happened?
We did. We had to stop the job, and actually, the customer we had, his wife was there instead of him. He was at work, and so she called him and tried to and explained it to him. And by the time my coworker got the phone, guy was mad, and he was like, "Just leave. I'm refunding. I want all my money back. All this stuff. Get out of my house." We're like, and then my coworker was like, "Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day." And hung up the phone.
Wow.
And it was a sincere thing because it's like we want to be very customer friendly, Because we understand, yes, I know you paid all this money, you want this to work, you want to watch your movies tonight or watch your Netflix or whatever, we understand. However, there's a serious fire code violation here, and we wanted to tell you about it. Mm-hmm. So we kind of got kicked out of the house, but we were nice about it, so that's kind of what we have to do. Nature of the gig. So
wow.
Them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks. It's not your fault that their wiring wasn't up to code, though.
No, it wasn't. I mean, and it was some just Joe Schmo that cuts corners and doesn't follow all the rules and stuff, and just like, oh yeah, I can do it for cheaper than these guys can do it. Yeah, but you broke the law and you put their house in jeopardy. Yeah. Because that's why we have the rules to make sure that people are safe. So
yes.
Sorry.
So what else is going on?
Well, like Jill said earlier, I had this awesome lanyard. I don't remember if we've had a show since I got this in. I don't know if I have or not.
Actually, I don't know.
I don't think so. But yeah, I commissioned Jules to do this awesome lanyard for BlizzCon and for any other con I want to do. It's orange and blue, so my favorite color, orange. Blue's a second favorite color. And also it's a light blue, so it's the mage blue. So, or it could also be a mage and druid, like me and Jules.
That's true.
Multiple meanings. There's like 17 meanings to this thing. But yeah, I got it in. I love it. It is heavy. Not too heavy, but it's got some weight to it. And I can't wait to rock it in November. So that's another cool thing. I love the Legion invasions and the world quests that go with them, because I got 2 more characters to 110.
Oh wow!
By doing just those after I got their artifacts. I got my Death Knight and my Hunter to 110.
That's awesome.
Yes. So now I have 2 more max level characters. I have no idea how to play. No idea how to play.
Well, so they'll just kind of sit there and collect dust and help you run things for the Love Rocket in February.
Yes, they are rocket fodder, just like every other character on my account.
Rocket fodder. That's awesome.
I think I'm going to start naming characters on other servers and leveling them. I've just got rocket fodder. Just call it that.
At least you know for sure what the intent was on that one. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Well, I made some this year called like Gimme Rocket or Rocket Please. Need the rocket. These are just all of these names just had rocket in there, so people would know if they see me walking down, the human starting area. It's like, oh, here's another level 1 warrior. Yep, give me a rocket. Yep, he's gonna play and do that. So yeah, that's exactly what the purpose is that I build up for an entire year and throw my alts at it, and then I never get it. But Draven, maybe next year will be our year.
Maybe.
We will hope.
Maybe.
But yeah, just doing a lot of things, trying to find time to do some crafty stuff, but it's hard.
Yeah.
When I've such long hours at work, I get done and I'm tired, and it's just like, I want to lay down or play games or something, and it just kind of gets in the way. But I'm gonna work on it some this weekend, because I've been doing a lot of Pokemon Go, and I've caught all 3 legendary birds finally. They all 3 came out, and now that that's over with, now I can dedicate more time to collecting. Not collecting, crafting.
That's awesome.
Yes. So yeah, that's about all that's been going on with me. There's a lot of going on.
There's a lot going on for sure. Yeah, and so now that you are done with the Pokemon collecting, is that going to be it for now, or?
Unless Niantic decides to release like Huo or Mew or Mewtwo, then pretty much, because that's like it. It's still so cool to see, because I'm in a Facebook group and they're like, oh, we got a Zapdos spawning at the Capitol. And then I drive all the way into the Capitol, and we see just people there's like doctors who are, and actually there's a criminal lawyer, criminal defense attorney who comes out, and at one of these, the guy, like another guy walks up to him, like shakes his hand and gives him the hug. And he's like, oh man, yeah, thanks for getting me off the hook. And he's like, well, you were innocent, so, kind of,
oh
he's
my.
like a criminal. One of his clients played Pokemon, and they saw each other after like, I don't know how long. but it's so funny just to see all the different. There's people. There's, like I said, there's doctors that are on lunch break. There's people from the from the TV station down the road that's there. There's just all walks of life. It is so cool to see and take pictures of. We were like just hanging out, talking. Like it was funny because I just gotten off work and I was still in my uniform, and my coworker and I that I usually run with, there was a raid just down the road from work, and so we're like, well, heck yeah, we'll go do that real quick. So we go, and I drive up, and it's a guy I met the day before, and he didn't know where I worked or anything, and I just drove up, rolled down the window. I was like, did you catch that Moltres from yesterday? And he kind of was like, what? Who are you? Oh, no, I didn't. And we kind of laughed about it, and then I got out of the car. We're just talking and everything, and it's so cool. It's just like like I said before, it reminds me of the olden days of getting a group together for a raid or a dungeon. Like you're just like, hey, I need 2 more DPS for Drek there and keep, please. I need to get my quest done. I want this random blue because I don't have enough to raid Naxxramas yet. It's all that kind of old stuff. Really feels cool, and it's you see the same people, and you kind of get this kind of camaraderie together. And I hope they start kind of giving us more Pokemon as you go, keep it fresh so that people can kind of keep meeting and stuff like that. But it's a cool time, and it's something you don't see every day. It's something it duplicates the best parts of my experiences online in games.
That's cool.
In the real world, it's doing exactly the thing that Niantic wanted it to do, is to get people out and about and meet people, make new friends. It's just a really cool thing, and I'm all for it. I'm down.
That's awesome.
But now that the events are over, well, they will be over come Monday for now, then I can kind of tone it down. Like you said, I'll tone it. Won't be spending all day on my days off running around the city. And I just like, okay, maybe after work one day, and then okay, I'll tone it down a little bit, and then actually get some other stuff I've been needing to do to get that done. So
yeah, definitely. So speaking of getting people together, on Saturday we had our summer Minnesota meetup, and that was a ton of fun. So this time we had a bunch of people that were new to the group too, that had come hearing them from the podcasts or from Twitter or from Facebook. And so that was really neat. And the last time we had done a meetup, we had gotten feedback that it would be helpful if we did some kind of an icebreaker type of activity of some sort. So I dug around on the internet. I looked all over the place. And and my friend Eva Lonnie said, Jules, why don't you do human bingo? And I'm like, what the hell is human bingo? She's like, oh, we do this at our job, my job, all the time. And it's a bingo card full of like personal traits of people, and you can customize it however you want to do it. And all you got to do is just go around and fill out your bingo card. Like if you find somebody, like say your bingo card says somebody who's left-handed, you go and you find that if you're trying to get a bingo on that line for that instance. So I found this awesome thing where I could generate these bingo cards for free, and it did them random, and it was super cool. And I was doing stuff on there like has at least one console, or is wearing a nerdy t-shirt, it loves pineapple on pizza or hates pineapple on pizza, stuff to get people talking. And it worked out great, and we had prizes to give away and all that stuff. It was awesome. And then we also had this game that Pat Crane had seen and played at Nerdtacular called 5 Minute Dungeon. And it was a Kickstarted game that I had never heard of, but he and a bunch of other people had played it at Nerdtacular. And he couldn't get it. Like it was not available for purchase, except that our friend Josh, who we found one and sent it to him so that it arrived on Friday before the meetup. And Pat was so excited. He was so happy because this game is it's a 5-person co-op game where you are each a different class. So a hunter, mage, paladin, rogue, stuff like that. And then you have a special thing, and you've got these cards that are all spell cards, and you're trying to defeat this trash in the dungeon to get up to this boss, and you're doing it in 5 minutes. So there's a timer on you, And
Oh wow.
it's like it's like the stupidest fun game that I've ever seen. It was so much fun. They were having such a blast with it, and I got to play a couple rounds. And so it's totally up our alley, guys. If you're like into WoW, if you've liked this kind of thing and you do tabletop, go out and look for 5-Minute Dungeon. It was available on Amazon the last time I checked. It's like super, super fun.
I have to do that.
Yeah, so we had a great time at this meetup. We had a really good time. We went out and hung out at Pat's house afterwards and drank and told stories and things like that. Went out to breakfast the next day. And then I got sick again. So it was kind of like, so I haven't had a lot of time to craft. I've done a little bit. I'm working on a lanyard right now. I have 2 lanyards to complete still for the CTR Party Kickstarter backers. And the one I'm doing right now is for Bartholomew. And it is a Zelda colored lanyard. It's super cool. So I'm working on that. Should have it done this weekend. And yeah, so and at the same time I've been trying to like schedule guests for our future shows. And so I am super excited. We have a guest coming up next week, and I want to tell you about it right now. Next week, on the 17th, we will be welcoming Nicole Duquesne from Heroes of Fitness. And she is going to be helping us with a very special listener email that we've had. And it is regarding weight gain due to medication and the impact that has had on our writer personally, emotionally, and physically, and how her friends and family have been treating her after she's gained weight. And she's looking for help, and I thought no better person in the world than Nicole. Nicole is amazing. If you haven't checked her out on Heroes of Fitness, twitch.tv/Heroes of Fitness, please do. She is a certified personal trainer, kettlebell instructor, and she does Heroes of Fitness with her husband Tim Spencer. She is also my personal trainer too. So full disclosure, we're going to have a personal connection there, but it is awesome, and I'm super excited to have her here next week for that email. So yes.
Yeah, I am too.
She's so nice.
That'll be
you guys.
definitely a good
you will
one.
Love her. Very, very positive, and she's very good about understanding the mindset for people who are going through the difficulties of weight gain and trying to lose weight, and learning how to eat properly and exercise properly, and what is it like for people who aren't physically fit. So it's going to be a good thing. Marcona and I can speak a little bit about that as well.
Oh, just a wee bit, yeah.
But I wanted somebody here who can really help with the moving forward part. So
yes, absolutely.
That's going to be the intention here. So that is coming up next week. We also have some guests coming up in September that I'm very excited about. And I can tell you guys this now because it is going to be super cool. And I can't remember the date. I have it somewhere, but it's like mid-September. We will welcome back Dr. Holiday Bean to the show, but we will also have 2 more guests as well. So there will be 5 of us on this show at the same time. And
this Twitch stream is going to be so crowded.
It's also going to be very estrogen heavy because it's going to be 4 women and Marcona.
Oh, jeez.
We will be welcoming to the show Dr. Shirley Impellerizzi and medium Kelly White from Both Sides Now podcast. Kelly is Holiday's mom, you guys, and she is a spiritual medium and a counselor as well. So Both Sides Now is her podcast, and it is the juxtaposition between spirituality and psychology. That added to Holiday being here too, it's going to be crazy and fun and silly, and I'm so excited. We're going to have a lot of fun with this one. I'm really super stoked. Trying to get 3 guests to get here on a certain day has been kind of like, as they say in the chat room, madness. We're super excited. If you haven't, if you'd like to check out Both Sides Now, check out, I think it's bothsidesnowtv.com, and they're on the UBN radio network. I really enjoy this show, you guys, and it's not for everybody. but I think that you will very much enjoy that as well. So, okay. Babble, babble, babble. Marconin, are you ready to transition to our discussion topic of the day?
Yes, I am. It's going to be a good one.
Let's do it.
Let's kick around some ideas, not gnomes.
Hello, back to us with discussion topic. I was racking my brains for a discussion topic the other day, and I couldn't find one. And then it kind of hit me the other day because it was a personal, real life thing that I was going through, and I'm like, oh, this is a perfect show discussion topic.
Yeah.
The topic that I'd like to talk about this week is changing your perception of people. And there's so many ways you can go with this. So let me talk about where this came from. I have a business relationship in my job. I'm not going to name her name because I don't want to call her out or anything. She may actually listen to the show in the future. We'll see. But it's a good story. It's not a bad story. When I went to we went to Florida in February. We went to a podcast convention in Florida, and there was a woman there who spoke at one of the panels and was doing some work with podcast advertising as well. And I had seen her a couple of times. Like, I'd seen her speak. I saw her interact with some people, and immediately she just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. She seemed pretty, in my opinion, kind of abrasive, kind of overtly direct, not really like sensitive. It was just kind of like
that type A personality
very,
thing.
very much so. Like, I'm not going to take any BS from anybody kind of thing. And it was immediately kind of the personality that I would kind of go, ooh. And when Pat and I have been talking about things for working for Signals Media, he had brought up her name a few times that I should call her for consulting. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to work well with her. And he kept pushing me, and it's like, well, you should do it anyway. Like, I want you to talk to her. And I'm like, dude, I really don't think she's the right fit for this. I don't think that she's, and he said, no, I want you to do it.
Yeah,
so
I'm not asking.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Okay. So
boss mode activate.
Exactly. Boss mode went on. So I reluctantly sent an email and said, okay, I'm just going to suck it up, and I will deal with this. And when we started talking, we set up a Skype call for a consulting appointment. We were talking about some things, and I realized that my first impression was, yes, correct, but not in the way that I thought. That she and I had a lot more in common. She was very observant. She was very much on the money with things. Like, she saw right through stuff. She was like, she got it. She was like, snap, snap, snap. And yes, she was direct, and yes, she was kind of abrupt and a little bit of abrasive, but it didn't bother me as much as I thought it was. And I'm like, okay, so my impression here was wrong. And so my wheels started spinning on this. It's like, I could have let this go and not have gone with this relationship to build this relationship. As it turns out, we have now built a business relationship together. We are working together directly now.
Awesome.
And if Pat hadn't, and the thing about it is, like, Pat loves to do the thing, and he'll admit this 100% in any day. He'll say, I told you so. And I'll go, I know you did, and I will admit when I'm wrong. Like, yeah, I know you told me to do it, and I you were right, and I was wrong. Like, I'll admit that. Mm-hmm. But if he hadn't pushed me, I would not have pursued this business relationship. And now I don't know if, things would be different than they are at the moment. Like, we wouldn't have been pushing forward in the incentives that we're trying to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it got me to thinking about perception and your perception of people in general. So I've been talking a lot to kind of introduce this. But when I brought this conversation to you, Marconin, I just brought this to you a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
What was your first impression of this discussion? Like, what came to your head?
Well, it's kind of, because I was trying to think of instances where I liked somebody, but then I got to know them better, and then my first impressions were wrong.
Right.
And then vice versa, of where I didn't really like somebody, but then, like you said, you interact with them and you get to know them a little bit better, and you're like, oh, okay, I was wrong. They're totally okay, and we might get along. And it's hard for me to try and think of examples.
See, and I have hundreds of them because, and let me say this. I think that I know this about myself. I think that my impression of somebody is like usually pretty spot on, that I'm usually a really good judge of character. And I know that I'm not all the time. I know it. Because if that were the case, I wouldn't have had some very close relationships disintegrate, or having my impression of someone be this certain way, and it turns out that it was very much not that way.
Yeah, and see, that's kind of where I kind of try and think of maybe there's a difference between like your impression of somebody, and then it's just an event that changes the person. Like who they are really didn't change, but the events kind of altered the relationship, maybe.
Possibly true. And that was one of the things I wanted to touch on with this discussion is like, the longer that you know somebody, the more that they will change. The more that their life will change. Like, let's use an example of work. Okay. You meet somebody who you are working with that you get along with pretty well. You work together pretty well. You can, you have a good time, blah, blah, blah. You think that you're really good friends. And then you leave that job. And suddenly you're no longer that common ground that you had was your job. And suddenly that good friendship that you thought you had, I've seen this happen so many times, and it's happened to me too, where you think you've got this amazing friendship, but as soon as that common ground is gone, so is your friendship.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's happened to me several times. But I'm kind of okay with it because it was, it's one of those things where you move away, so now you don't have the common ground. Like Epic Insanity is another podcast guy. Him and I we worked at the same company in this exact same position, but at different stores. So we had this really big, like, we're gonna gripe about work together, and we get it, man. We get it. We understand each other's problems at work because they're the same.
Right.
And since then, he left the company and is doing his freelance podcasting thing, and it's awesome. And I've since moved on to a different position in the company too. Mm-hmm. But we don't talk as much as we did, but that's okay because when we do talk, it's about the other things that we have in common. So it wasn't just the work stuff wasn't our only like friendship touchstone common ground thing. So we were able to, we're still friends and everything. We still talk. It's just not as much because we're not like, can you believe what the boss did today? Because he's his own boss. So he'd be like, can you believe what I did today? It's different. It's different. But there's probably dozens of like work friends that I've had. But since I don't work there, I don't work with them anymore. I don't really talk that much. And, and
it doesn't necessarily change your perception of them. It's just kind of change the circumstances around it. But so in that instance, when if they go on or you go on to do different things, in essence, you're kind of a different person at that point. Like I've seen it where I've worked at a place where someone was like, she used to call me all the time asking for advice and, asking to try to help her through stuff. And as soon as I left the company, that all stopped. It wasn't like, it was like that friendship did not sustain. And it was like, okay, well, the things that she used to say was like, you're my best friend and I love you so much. And then I don't hear, like, I even tried reaching out to her after I had left and see, how are you doing? But never got a response. So it was like, okay, my impression of you is definitely different now. My perception of who you are is different now because it clearly is, it was clearly meant as a convenience for you because I was right there.
Yeah.
And
that
happens.
And all, yeah. Well, and another thing, if we're talking about work stuff, is if your coworker friend of yours gets promoted above you.
Yes.
then the whole dynamic changes, and then you get to see how they function, over people. And that can that can definitely change your impression of somebody, because you can be best friends, and then when they get the job above you and they start dictating what you do, it could be like they forgot what it was like when they were in the trenches with you, and they start over expecting. And that's a problem sometimes, is people that are in positions of power, they don't remember what it was like to be underneath that person's thumb. And so it really tests not only your friendship with them, but then kind of gives you a better impression on how they handle stress, and how they handle, all of the extra added responsibility. And it could go great, or it could go terribly.
Yeah.
So that's another way.
The funny thing about something like that is, it kind of calls back to when I was a supervisor, working in a corporate environment. And that kind of thing exactly happened, where people were, they automatically formed an impression of me without ever getting to know me as a person, because now I was the supervisor versus actually being, in there, an actual person. Think about it from just the basic thing of when you were a kid and how your teachers weren't really human.
Yeah.
They were otherworldly in a way. You never really thought about the fact that your math teacher had a wife at home and kids, or that he gets in his car and goes to the grocery store. Like, goodness gracious, if you ever ran into your teacher outside of school, that was like really this surreal thing, because you have this perception of them in that context only, and it's that weird, like, awkward, oh my gosh, you're actually a real person and not my teacher,
Yeah, and it is different, because kind of like an example, my band directors were always, I was very, I was close to them, because I looked up to them a lot, and they were like some of my favorite educators that I've ever had. And like my high school band director, he actually lives down the road from my sister now, and so when I helped my sister move in, him and his wife helped too. So it's like my band director, who was this authority figure over me, but and now, gosh, 16 years later, and I see him just in shorts and sandals and a shirt, and he's helping us move in stuff, and we're just carrying on a normal conversation. I know I haven't, it's been 16 years since high school, so the whole student teacher thing, I still feel that way, because I it's kind of like my professor in college. Like, I can't call him by his first name. It's always doctor last name.
Yeah.
Because I still have that respect. It's ingrained in me. That's kind of like if I go to a restaurant and there's like a 16-year-old waitress, and she's like, "You guys need anything?" "Oh, no, ma'am, we're fine." She's half my age, but she's still ma'am, because of just that programming and the respect thing going on. So it's hard for me to just run up and call one of my teachers by their first name. It's kind of like calling my parents by their first names. It's like it's something weird goes on in the head. It's like, nope, there's a block on that. It's kind of like a 404 not found or something. Like I can't do that.
Even today, I'm in my 40s, and the parents of my friends in childhood, they were like Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Mr. and Mrs. Keller, and Mr. and Mrs. Leitner. I never knew their first names, or I did know them, and my parents would refer to them, and I'd know who they were talking about, but I would just never be able to say that person's first name, right? It just doesn't happen that way. So it's a perception thing, yes, and it's kind of a programming thing, yes. But changing those perceptions of people, I read something recently that really made me pause for a minute. And I want you guys to think about it. I want you to think about it for a second. And when you think about people in your life who you meet and who are interactive in your day, that we in ourselves give ourselves leeway to be a work in progress. But those important to us in our lives, we expect them to be a finished product. And so thinking about it from that perspective and saying, okay, so let's think of your significant other, or your best friend, or someone who you've really had a good relationship with, and you meet them and you've been friends for a long time. If you've been friends long enough, or you've been in a relationship with someone long enough, you're going to see a flaw. You're going to see things that are not complete. You're going to see them have issues, and yet we can't, so I guess where I'm trying to go with this is that a lot of times what happens with me is I will meet somebody and I'll think, oh my gosh, that person is so great. I think they're so good. There's like that person is so nice. Like, they're super cool. I really like them. And then you get to know them a little bit better and you realize they're still pretty cool, but they got a couple like really big personality flaws that are just not as great as you thought they were. And it's like, okay, all right, I can deal with that. And then, oh yeah, we're super cool, we're good friends, and they never call me back, ever. Like, ever. I'm texting them, and I text them and they never text me back. And it gets really frustrating. But they're still awesome. They're still really cool, and I really, really like them.
I'm sorry, Jules. I was busy today. I told you that's why I couldn't reply right away.
I'm not talking about you doofus. But
I was driving, okay?
Yes, for the record, Mark Honan didn't text me back, and I'm like, are you alive?
Yes, I'm still here.
But I'm seriously not talking about you.
Oh, I know.
But as you go through this, you start to realize that, I have a real problem sometimes with thinking that people are a lot more perfect than they actually are, and then when they start to actually show that they're not perfect, it's like super disappointing for me, and it's very hard for me to deal with it. And yet I have that same flaw where it's like I'm expecting them to be this finished product, but yeah, I can be a work in progress. Like, there's no problem with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. We do have to work to acknowledge that, no one's a finished product yet. And, and it's easy for us to, like you were saying, for us to think that we need to improve and we need to get better and change. But we always expect everyone else to be stalwart in their faculties and to not mess up or to be exactly who we think they are. And it's not the case.
Standard, right?
Yeah, and it's not always putting them on a pedestal, but it's like treating them as if they are a photograph, as if they are a still life of things that do not move or change. And this isn't really it isn't quite related, but my dad, he was in a car accident back in '93 and had a little bit he was in a coma for a week, and he had a little bit of brain damage to it. Not much. I mean, he still works fine, everything. But things, it's starting to affect him more recently, and it's really hard for me to accept it. And I know it's not because I treat him as he's supposed to be this way that he's always been,
right? But
it's what I'm used to. It's what I've always, when I think of my dad, I have this picture in mind, of my father, and same thing with my mom and with my family. And, it's one of those things like you don't take, what's the word? You don't really appreciate what you have until you don't have it.
Yeah. Kind
of a thing where something will change. You're like, no, but it was supposed to be like this. I liked it like this. Of course, like when a family member passes away, or in this case, when some things my dad will do where it's, I have to like, oh, that's right. It might be because of this or because of that, or, he's going through a lot of stuff right now. And, it doesn't affect my opinion or my outlook or anything like it. It's just something I have to be aware of because, like you said, he's a work in progress, just like I am, just like you are, just like everyone out there listening is.
Right.
And we do have to, when we have these impressions of people and they fall short or they're not quite what we think they are, that's something to keep in mind, is that no one's perfect. We're not, they don't know who you think they should be.
That's very true.
So, and they're not here to perform for you.
No. And
they're who they are. And, you may be wrong in your judgments or your opinions, and that's fine. Just kind of roll with it, be like, okay, yeah, I was wrong about that. That's because they're not this, they're that. And
yeah. And when you set your own expectations on people, you have really no one to blame yourself when that expectation isn't met, because, it's like I struggle with this all the time. It's definitely a character flaw that I know exists in me that I don't necessarily give. Like, I will give people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to, like, if I like them, You know, if I respect them and I like them, give them the benefit of the doubt. If they're not someone that I like or respect, that benefit of the doubt doesn't exist. You know, because it's
Yeah.
like it's a double standard, and I know that it's there. And so and I was thinking about it in a philosophical sense. So, in example, I asked Marconin to kind of think about this. So we're going to do a little bit of an exercise. And we'll do it together so that you don't feel like you're on the spot here. And you guys at home can do the same thing. And I'm going to use an example of like someone that people that you interact with or see or know acquaintance-wise on Twitter or social media, Facebook, someone who isn't specifically close to you, but that you know of and that you have a negative impression of. Okay? So, like, picture that person into your head. It's, that you have a negative impression of this person. You don't like them. And so I'm going to ask you, and, obviously we're not going to mention names, but I'm going to ask you to use three adjectives to describe why you don't like that person. So for me, my adjectives why I don't like this person is that I feel like they manipulate people, that they play on people's sympathies, and that they're only out for themselves.
Okay. Let's see. There were a couple in mind, but
just pick one.
Okay. Trying to think how to word it. I feel that they use anyone to get ahead. I also feel like they don't care about others. And let's see. Gosh, that's two of the big ones. And that they love to show it off.
Okay. So now you obviously have seen this person interacting with other people. And so I'm going to have you put yourself in the shoes of someone who likes this person and say what you think that person likes about the person that you don't like.
Okay. So from the point of view of someone who does like them, what would they say about that person that they do like?
What would they say about that person that makes them like them?
I would say that they seem to be fun-loving, that they love being around people and having a good time with those people, and that they're very driven in their career.
Okay. And for mine, I would say they always seem so positive. They are they're trying so hard. And they've just had a bad break. And so, okay, so now we've said these two very different styles of adjectives, descriptors of this person. Who's right?
Could be both.
Could be both.
I mean, there's like an old I guess it's an analogy or metaphor, whatever the word is, where three blind guys are in a room with an elephant, and they're each touching a part of the elephant, and they're like, "Okay, describe it to me." And the one person who touched the back leg was like, "Oh, it was as big as round and as tough as a tree. It must be like a tree trunk." And then the person who touches the tail was like, "Oh, it was like a fine painter's brush." The person who touches the trunk, it's like, "Oh, it was a snake." Well, they're not all wrong. It's descriptors of the same thing. So in the same way, the negative things that I think about that person, my perceptions, could be true. And also the other person's point of view is also true, because my goodness, we are multifaceted beings, aren't we?
Yes.
We have good days and bad days. We have good things and bad things about us. We're not, like I was saying earlier, we're not just a single frame or a still life of a person. We're very very complex creatures in every aspect.
Yes.
And they can both points of view can be true.
It can be. And that I think is the biggest takeaway of this as well. Like, for someone that I don't like could be somebody that you do like.
Mm-hmm.
And so that doesn't make it wrong. But and that's the problem that I think a lot of people have, is that as soon as someone says, I don't like that person, and they go, oh my gosh, how could you not like that person? It's like, well, no, I have the absolute right to not like that person. These are the reasons why. You have your reasons why. And both of them are justified. If you can justify them and say, now my impressions of the person, that I'm thinking of, the impression that Mark Honan is thinking of, can be perceptions based off of things that we've seen, but not, like, if we actually sat down and interacted with that person personally, if we knew them, and, it could change. It may not. But my point in this is that a lot of times we stand on the side of it's either right or it's wrong. It is yes or it is no. It is good or it is bad. And if you want more thought on this topic, please go out and find the NPR podcast called Invisibilia and go to their reality episode, because I just listened to this and it was like this inspired this discussion. It is so good. And because we spend so much time when we talk about people, and I see this a lot. Like, I was like logging into the show, and on Twitter there was this little like subtweet war going on between two people that I follow, and I knew who both of them were talking about because I saw their interaction and I saw how it all went south. And I'm like, one person's dislike of a person, or other people's like, hey, I really like that person. I embrace those flaws that you're calling out all over the internet,
Yeah.
and, whatever. So now, I mean, I guess if that person is out there going out and doing, like, unjustifiable things to people, illegal things, and it's just like, if you are purposefully trying to hurt someone, if you are purposefully trying to injure someone or that kind of thing, that's different. But I'm talking about different strokes for different folks, basically.
Yeah.
And so I look at it and say, I know I'm very careful about when someone says to me, I love this person, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I hate that person so much.
Yeah.
Because I'm very careful about saying that out loud, because it's not, if I were asked what my impression was of that person, I will share it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, I don't know. There's a balancing act. Like, there have been certain relationships in my life that I had wished that more people had said what they were thinking about that specific person to kind of encourage that relationship to end. Because there were a lot of things that went unsaid and probably would have helped to have changed that. So I'm on a double-edged sword on that one. I don't like people just going in and butting in when they think that they're warranted when it maybe isn't, because no one's going to listen to you anyway. But if your good friends are not really, like, let's say your good friends think that your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other is a dick. I would hope that they were good enough friends to tell you that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and there's been times, Jules, where I've said something that's like, oh yeah, I like that person. And you're like, well, just so you know, this person also is this. I'm like, oh, okay. Well then, and then I had to, and this happened a while back.
Yeah. But
then I had to, in my mind, I had to pro-con it out.
Right.
And then I just had to wait and see and keep interactions going and see where it went. And, it's, like I said, someone's a work in progress. People mess up. Mm-hmm. So do I. So does everybody. So,
yeah,
it's one of those things where it does temper my expectations and temper my opinions. But I it's kind of like you take it with a grain of salt. You kind of just like, okay, yeah, I've got this and that. Okay, let's go for it. It's kind of like, getting, two people say, well, yeah, they're saying different things about the same person, and then you just make observations.
Yeah.
And
Like for
you
you
test
and
your
I,
theory,
it's a little bit different. We've been
It
such good
is.
friends for a long time. Like if you bring up somebody who I know maybe has done some really unsavory things to someone else and you talked really
Yes.
positively about that person, I'm going to tell you what I know just
Yes.
so that you stay safe. Like I will do that with
Mhm.
my friends who I care about.
Mhm.
And I have done that in the past in very limited occasions where I've seen someone starting to interact with someone and I'm like, oh God, no, 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 no. They're not a good person because I've seen what they've done to people. And so I will talk. But I really weigh that out. Like it has
Yeah.
to
Oh,
be, it has to be the right relationship with that person. Like, look, I'm not trying to badmouth people. I just want you to know this information and then you make your own judgment.
Yeah. I mean, and all that is more information.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is good.
Yeah. So when it comes to perceptions of people, I find that I said earlier, like I tend to think that I'm really a good judge of character for a lot of people. And I think that I am decent at it, but I am most definitely not as good at it as I think I am. So, because I've been surprised by people more often than I can count.
I've been burned, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
You
been
burned
burned
me.
hard. And it unfortunately has caused some pretty severe trust issues for me. Like I don't let people in very easily at all. It takes a lot of effort to do that. And because when I do let people in, it's kind of like, it's this it's very personal. And the number of times that has gone south has put me in a position where I'm just like, I don't do that lightly at all.
Yeah.
So, and when I talked to Mark Conan about this earlier, he said, well, I try not to dislike people, so I'm going to have to think really hard about this. And I'm like, oh, you sweet thing.
Ever the optimist, okay? I can't help it. I mean, I had a couple ideas because, let's face it, I'm human. So there are a couple people, but...
But it is absolutely 100% normal for people to not like other people. What is not normal is to make it your job to make sure that nobody else likes that person, or to drag them through the mud, or it's like, no, you don't need to do that. You need to accept the fact that you don't like them, and that's okay, and that other people are going to like them, and maybe you're going to have an impression of those people who do. Because so here's an example, a very like abstract example is like, if I have a deep dislike for someone, like that has been a personal disconnect, like I had a good relationship with them, it went south, I found out who they really were, it wasn't good, our relationship disintegrates. And those who are sticking by that person, I'm not really going to be friends with you either. That's me. That's how I operate. Mm-hmm. I will cut ties. I'll be like, nope. I am not going to trust you. I am because you have shown me who you're allied with. And if you think that person is a good person, either you're completely disillusioned with who they really are, or you're okay with it. And in that case, I'm not okay with you. That's how I see it.
Confirmed, Jules will cut you. I will cut you.
I will cut a bitch. Yes.
I'll cut you so bad you wish you had never been cut so bad.
And maybe that's part of my trust issues too. But and I know I have them. But I also know that they came with good reason. So. It's a tough situation, and we will be interacting with people for the rest of our lives. People will be entering and exiting our space, and we will be meeting and meet new people, and we will be saying goodbye or drifting away from others. And so this is something that you always will be doing in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you perceive what your impression is.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like we said before, depending on, unless there's overt things like Jules was talking about that people have done, just trying to remember that we're all a work in progress. we said it like 12 times
Yeah.
in the show, and that, and even with that a little experiment of the 3 bad things and the 3 good things, like that actually did temper my opinion a little bit, and it kind of it reoriented it within the big, the big grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, why am, and it could even go to, why am I harboring these bad opinions about someone who I don't interact with hardly at all? But why should it bug me when I still see things and it reminds me of things that I know that happen, things that I know.
Right.
Like, why does it register? Why should it even bother me? Because I don't, it's a different, you see the other side of the coin with people. So.
Right. Well, and I did that exercise to kind of open up the eyes of, there are people, and just as you may not like you may dislike this person, there are people who do like that person. Now, on that flip side, I will also say that 9 times out of 10, the people who like that person, I'm not too keen on either. So it's like, it kind of all comes hand in hand. But sometimes there is there are certain people who if you gave me, like, if you asked me what the rules were for my social media feed, and I say, I don't like people who cause drama, and I don't list a bunch of things that you don't like. And there's a couple people that I still keep on my Twitter feed because for some reason they do all the stuff that I would say I would normally dislike. And for some reason it amuses me, or it entertains me, or maybe it's like watching a train wreck. I don't know.
You say you'd be like that gif of Michael Jackson eating popcorn. You're just sitting there eating popcorn watching it.
Sometimes you just want to watch some of the chips fall, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I'll still follow some of those people and kind of go, oh gosh, oh, here we go again,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and as Bim just said, you can't look away because I'm human, and sometimes I like a good drama fest. So, it's just funny. And so I don't follow this strict set of rules and say, just because I don't like this person, that means I don't like anybody who does that type of thing anytime and ever. So it's just kind of funny. But it's kind of my personal study of human behavior that drives me too. Like, there's the things that will drive me the most insane are the people that who I get the impression of just, they are completely tone deaf to how they come across to other people. And there's nothing you can say that can change that. And that's the worst kind. And I will be like, mute, block, nope, I don't want to see it. It's so frustrating. So, yeah. And, it's just, that's how it goes. But sometimes those impressions can change because people change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. You could learn something about somebody you didn't know, and it might put your ideas within a context that you can better think about why you feel the way you do about that person, how your opinion of them and your perception fits in to how they are as a person. There may be some rhyme or reason behind the things that you don't like about somebody. That's after learning something about somebody or interacting them with more, it puts it better into context, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
This episode is basically food for thought for you guys for the week. So start thinking about your relationships and thinking about the people that you like, the people you don't like, and thinking about why. And so if we've done that, we've done our job, and a Triple T episode is in the bag then.
Job's done.
Job's done. So anything else you wanted to say before we roll on to the Tell Us One Thing questions?
Nothing really that we haven't covered already. Just, remember that people are more than just the picture you have in your head of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're people too. Just remember that when you're quick to judge or quick to maybe talk bad about somebody. Mm-hmm. Just in general, just try to keep that in your mind, that they're more than just the one side you see. That people have so many sides.
Exactly. And you guys can send your feedback, your thoughts to this topic to questions@taurentthinktank.com. And if you have a discussion topic that you would like to bring up for the show, please do send it to that email address. we would love to see it. We've got the discussion coming up next week. We will be off the following week because I will be in California for work. So after that, so we will miss another show in 2 weeks, just so you guys have the heads up on that. And
Plenty of time to write in, though.
Yeah, it's plenty of time to write in. So speaking of writing in, we're going to do some Tell Us One Thing. And we've got some questions that we hang out from last week.
Yeah.
We read your submissions because reading your mind would just be creepy.
So Marcona came up with the questions this week, and the first one that he had on the list was, what's the most ridiculous thing you have ever bought?
Yes. So Jules, what was yours? I want to know yours first.
So I really struggled with this because, as you know, I don't buy a lot of stuff. So
yeah.
I was really trying to think about, like, what is it that gosh, this one was really hard for me.
Yeah. It wasn't the $2,000 cat tree, was it?
The $2,000 cat tree. And that's news to me, man. I'm trying to think. Gosh, because I'm thinking about what's in my house right now, which is like nothing. Basically, everything that's here is here for a purpose. So I'm trying to go backwards.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I can do mine first if you want.
Yeah, I'd been stuck on this for a little bit.
Okay, well, I got two. One of them was my sophomore year of college.
Oh,
so it's like 2002, and I had an intro to computers class, which is going to be a bird course. I mean, it's like, this is the power button.
Oh,
this
really?
is the keyboard. Well, and then it went into like Microsoft Office, so other things. But it was a really easy class, and they wanted us to get a thumb drive. And now, granted, this was 15 years ago when thumb drives were very, very small, very small. And I went to Office Max, and it's because I had just gotten my student loan disbursement for the semester, and I spent $100 on a thumb drive. Can you guess how much storage space was on that drive?
64 megs.
Oh, it was a little bit more than that.
120
It was
megs.
1 gig.
1 gig for $100?
1 gig for $100.
What?
And it was huge. It was the size of a watch on one end. It was huge. It was like a watch face. And then it went in there and it lit up. It had like a blue, and the thing was, it was like 5 inches long too. It was huge, and it had to be in a particular kind of USB port to get enough power to run the thing.
Jeez.
And I lost it 2 weeks later.
Oh no!
I left it in the computer at the end of class, and of course it was like a Tuesday, Thursday class, so left it on a Thursday, came back Tuesday. I was like, crap, it's gone.
Sucks. Oh, that sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought of mine.
That was a big one.
Oh, jeez, that's awful. Oh, that's awful.
And I keep thinking about those trip pants I bought in 2004, like the big baggy black trip pants with the straps and all the buckles and the chains.
Yes.
I have those. I still have them, but I haven't worn them. Yeah. I wouldn't let anyone throw them away. It's one of those things like you run into your parents' like pair of bell bottoms or something like that. You're like, why do you still have these? It's like, it's like a relic from the fashion. It's like, that's kind of what it is. Like, yeah, everybody wore chains and big poofy, gigantic pants in the mid 2000s.
Parachute pants. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. Okay, so I thought of mine.
All right.
The first house that I had ever owned when I lived in Madison. It was a ranch style house, and it had, in the entryway, it had this slate tile that was it was kind of this greenish blue, and then it had blocks of red and purple in it. And I wanted to carpet the living room in there. So I begged my ex-husband, my first husband, I said, I really want purple carpet to match that tile.
Oh, yeah.
And we got purple carpet for the entire living room.
Yes.
And
awesome.
I don't know how, like, I'm sure because the ranch style houses were totally in the demand. So when we split up and we sold the house, it sold right away. But I was like, I could have just completely tanked our resale value by covering the entirety of the living room in purple carpet. And these days, like I would like I would be caught dead doing that, but I was like
Yeah.
25 and I didn't care. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. It was my first house. So that was probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever bought. I can't believe I had actually done it and then he let me. That was the funniest thing ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we asked you guys what you had to say about the most ridiculous thing you've ever bought, and Mehmet said, the D3 launch, I wanted the pet from having the collector's edition badly. Walmart said they had it. I waited 4 hours there, and they said to my face that they had it, but of course, they had no collector's edition, so I bought it on eBay for $200.
Oh, yeah. Yep, those collector's editions will do it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
sorry.
that's for the next question. Broken Bones says a Jeep Wrangler Sport with a 4-liter V6 soft top with the half doors. I added a 6-inch lift and put 30-inch tires on it. So it was impractical. It was impractical compared to my truck that I traded in, but so worth it. So worth it.
So worth it. Torek says, my current gaming PC, it has more money put into making the custom water cooling loop, fancy wiring, and lighting than all of the actual PC hardware components, which includes an i7 and a GTX 1080. Adding up the total was not fun to see, but it sure looks incredible.
Oh, yeah. And Kaifin says a pet rock. Yes, they sold them when I was a kid. Yes, I had to have one. Yes, my parents made me use my own money because rock. Yes, they shook their heads.
The pet rock thing was insane. Somebody made a whole lot of money over this most ridiculous things.
It's like having pet grass.
Pet grass. Have some pet grass. A Daniel Tweets says an Xbox 360. I've literally played it twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I won't buy a console, to be honest, because I would love it and I would never play it.
Yeah, I need to put more time into my PS4 because I've played Horizon Zero Dawn like 3 times and I haven't touched it since.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy consoles.
I need some time. I need some time to play it.
Yeah, I know I won't make it, so.
Mm-hmm. Our buddy Navox says broadswords and katana swords. I own many swords that would necessitate an entire sword rack. What am I going to do with a sword rack? Good old Wayne's World reference. I need a gun.
A gun. And then we asked the second question, if you built a themed hotel, what would the theme be and what would the rooms look like?
Yes, I would do a nostalgia themed hotel, but it would be like the Cafe 80s in Back to the Future 2, where it's always morning in America, even in the afternoon. It would be like fandom retro themed rooms. So you're gonna have a Back to the Future suite with like a DeLorean bed. It's like a bed, but it's like a DeLorean around it. So you're gonna have that. You're gonna have a Ghostbusters room, 2 levels, so you can have the police pole or the fire pole. You're gonna have rooms themed on album covers too.
Oh my gosh.
So decorated, painted, all the things. So Jules, your favorite Phil Collins album covers would be represented. It would be themed like that. TV shows, like part of the room would look like the set.
Yes.
Just you could have like a little bit of the living room on your favorite sitcom, or whatever you wanted. It would be that, and it would have sound systems in there that would play as you walked in the door the first time. It would play the theme song or play a snippet of a song from the album or whatever, and it would just be like that. You'd have a themed room service as well. I mean, spare no expense.
Spare no expense.
Yeah. So that's what I would kind of call it.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay, I like it. So, like, the theme hotel thing brings up a dangerously, like, it's a dangerously fine line between themed hotel and naughty hotel, if you will. There's a
See, I did not even think about that.
okay. So
Where is your mind?
my Wisconsin people will know this. There's a place in Wisconsin called the Don Q Inn, and the Don Q Inn has themed rooms of like different like cheesy, super cheesy, but it's known to be the like the hookup getaway, right? So that's
Okay.
so
Pay by the hour.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. The Don Q Inn is Wisconsin people will know this, and if you don't, go look it up on the internet, and you will see how cheesy and crazy this thing looks.
Are the links safe for work?
Yes. Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
It's not naughty necessarily, but I'm sure that there's plenty of naughty things. So of course, my brain first goes to something that would never fly in a hotel room, but would be super cool. I had thought about like if everything in the hotel room was a different texture. So like one of the rooms is all bubbles, right? And one of the rooms has all like velvet, and one of the rooms has all fur. And I'm like, nope, that's too naughty. It's too naughty. It's too naughty. So,
You could have the Velvet Elvis room, where
Velvet
it's just
Elvis
wall to
room.
wall Velvet
Yes.
Elvis.
So my other choice, and maybe this is still in the naughty space, is I would make a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory hotel, and that every room would be inspired by one of the rooms in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Well, no, Willy Wonka, because that's the original, and I like that one better. So, Bim's never heard of this. Bim, go look it up. It's called the Don Q Inn, and it
Looks
is
like a barn.
It is a barn, but it is crazy cheesy and silly and all themed rooms. So we're going to just looking at it now.
I am looking.
Is there like the space room? Is there one of those?
I don't. Okay, I see a heart-shaped bed with a heart-shaped like crushed velvet mirror on the ceiling.
Yes. See?
Good grief! And there's like an
naughty
airplane.
Hotel. Yep.
That's interesting.
See, you've learned something new.
I do see this space room.
The space room. I told you. I have never been to this place. I promise you, I've not had experienced this. Yes, you've been found the space room.
Yay, space room. That is very cheesy, but that's kind of fun.
It's so cheesy. Anyway, we asked you guys to give us your suggestions on this topic, and you did not disappoint. Mehmet says Minecraft.
Yeah.
The dressers, tables, chairs, and beds will all be blocks of some kind. The bed would be 6 to 10 blocks covered by a sheet. Proper springs and bedding underneath, but multiple blocks. Light switches would be big levers that you had to throw, and the alarm clocks would be a mob's noise.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool idea. Broken Bone says a Hogwarts theme, plus the town of Hogsmeade, because who would not want a vacation in Hogwarts and go shopping in Hogsmeade? I doubt I would ever want to leave that place.
I wouldn't. I'd stay there forever. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we had to pretty much drag Jules out of the Harry Potter world at Universal, so.
Go back. I really want to go back. We're probably not going to have time for it, but Torek says Warcraft theme seems obvious considering this show, but I'll say Silver Moon City Resorts. Huge, soft, room-sized lounge pillow for a bed with elegant hookahs and fancy elven wine bottles everywhere.
Yeah, and not a soul in sight.
Right, because nobody's there. Except a couple
Except
of
for
our peers in a corner.
I was going to say. Yeah, talking about not safe for work. Draven Dresden says games. Not just Blizzard, but nearly any game. Each room would have its own theme. There would likely be multiple copies of the room for some of them, and a giant area set ahead for activities, whether they be a murder mystery or some LARPing or D&D or Easter egg hunts, what have you.
That'd be fun. That'd be very
That's
fun.
a cool idea. Tetris room. You have to solve the puzzle to open the door. You have to get a certain score of Tetris to open the door because the door would actually open.
And then you'd spend your entire time in there humming the theme song. Yes.
Well, why can't I go to sleep? There's a song stuck in my head. I really need to go to bed.
You're welcome, people. Kaya
Earworm Central. That's us.
Earworm Central. Kaya Finn says, foods of the world, maybe. Each room inspired by a different culture, cuisine, and room service to match each room included. For that personal dining experience, maybe chef comes in and prepares the meal in the room. Ooh, that sounds a little naughty. Where's my brain? See, now I'm thinking.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Every single time she goes to the naughty hotel.
It's the naughty hotel. And then Solomio brought it up that sounds like the Poconos in Pennsylvania. Poconos were like where they advertised that you were like sleeping in some like wine champagne glass bath or something. So like, you gotta look up advertisements from the late 70s, early 80s for the Poconos, and you can understand what I mean.
Okay.
Live on the East Coast. Those were the naughty hotels. That's where the parents went to go like get some nookie and get away from the kids for a weekend.
Yes, it's all new to me. I don't know any of those New England things. I don't know about all that.
I don't know about y'all.
y'all are strange up there. Your northern territories.
That's true with our naughty hotels.
Yeah. Let's see. Eiffel says Star Trek, and each room would be themed on each series. I like this idea.
Of course you do.
The rooms on the floor would range from lighthearted themes to dark by story arcs. So that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be great.
I don't want the room with the sludge pool that Tasha Yar gets killed in. I just don't want that to be like my bathtub. That would be a bad room to stay in.
I don't think that anybody would be cool about staying in that room.
Yeah.
Not so much.
I went to the Star Trek experience that was back in the it was like the Las Vegas Hilton, I think, or the one of them. I went there like 2 weeks before they closed. So it was amazing for a Trekkie like me who had never been there. But it was also kind of sad because all the people there were in the themes and they were just kind of like, oh no, there's a Borg coming because I have one more paycheck. There's, oh no, get down, pew pew. So it was a little sad, but it was also very awesome. So if we had a Star Trek themed hotel, I would love it if we get another one.
I want to go back to Vegas.
Love it.
Again. I keep wanting to
Me
go
too.
back to Vegas. Finally, Bim Shield Spec says the Hollywood Hotel. Each room is a different movie set.
I'm down for that.
Not the Hollywood Hotel from the Tower of Terror, though. We don't do that. It's just going to be, because that's
how you wake up in the morning.
Oh God, that's what I know. That's what I thought of initially when she said this, and I'm like, no.
Well, it's not there anymore, right?
No, it's now the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which we will try when we go to BlizzCon.
Yes, we will. That would be awesome.
I know. And that, my friends, is Tell Us One Thing. Thank you guys so much for your contributions to last week's questions. We will not have questions next week because we will have a guest for the show, so it'll be a couple weeks before we do this again. But we are always looking forward to doing these with you because you get to learn about us. We get to learn about you. It's pretty darn fun. You can submit those answers on Twitter at Tauren Think Tank. You can go on Discord, which is probably the most popular place to answer Tell Us One Thing questions. And that quick link to get there is tinyurl.com/tttchat2. And with that, it's time to get to the slash moves of the day. We've got slash moves right here. We start with Broken Bones, who says slash moo to an old friend, Noelle, who has just announced she's getting married. I'm so thrilled for her.
Congratulations. And from Cell. Says slash moo to Frank, Alicia, Nevar, Steph, and Jules for having supper with me on my birthday a couple days ago.
Yeah, we joined him for
That's
his
awesome.
birthday. It was pretty fun. We went to Red Robin. Yum.
Ooh, I love. They're building a Red Robin down the street.
Are they really?
I can't wait. They are, and I have not eaten Red Robin in a long time. I cannot wait for November because I don't think it'll be built by November. So we may have to go down the street. Liz going to get it again. I miss that
Freckled
place.
lemonade, man. It's so good. It's so good. And finally, Eiffels, who did a naughty and slash mood to me, slash mood to Jules, for being the first person to make me think that podcasting actually has a point when it isn't focused on a single idea. I don't know what that means, dude, but you're welcome. And you're not supposed to slash mood Marconin and me. So naughty. Broke the rules, but we'll allow it.
We'll allow it this time.
We'll allow it.
Now you know.
Now you know. Now you do. And that, Marconin, is a show.
Yep.
Yup. It's a show, all right.
Yeah, it's a show.
Uh-huh.
It may not be the best show you get every week, ladies and gentlemen, but by golly, there it is.
The spit was everything.
I just need like a sound effect with the spittoon going.
Please, I will put that on my soundboard and we will use it incessantly.
We will find some good ideas and places to put that in there for y'all.
Thank you, because that's classically awesome.
That's how we like to do it. Like I said, not the best show, but yeah, we're trying to do it all right.
Wow, I love this. This is the most.
Now, you know when I'm getting tired, because then the voices come out. It's a lot easier for them to kind of, I hold them back in my head all day, every day. They stay back, and like it's kind of like how Arthas, he would like hold back the scourge from like taking over the world. So we killed him. He was like, there must always be a Lich King. And then like Bolvar like stepped up and was like, I do it. Somebody needs to do it. So he's holding back all. So he's holding back all the scourge now, because as long as there's Lich King, the wave and the tide of undead scourge will not ran rampant all over Azeroth. That's how these voices are in my head. But when I get tired, I start losing control, and they just start coming out. So I'm sorry, folks, ladies and gentlemen, out there, out in the listening world and radio land for this, but it happened.
I volunteer to be the Lich King. Not really. I'm just kidding. Frostmourne hungers, y'all. Thanks, Buguyver. That's too perfect.
Good one.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show tonight. We had a blast, and we're very, very happy to be back again and feeling well again. And we will be back next week with Nicole Duquesne from Heroes of Fitness. Please check her out on twitch.tv/Heroes of Fitness. They'll be streaming this weekend. You can get a taste of what they are like. And I know you guys will really enjoy Nicole. She's wonderful. So with that, we're going to bring the show to a close like we always do. Just like this. Tauren Think Tank is a proud member of the Signals Media All-Star Network. Find out more about the other great shows in the network by going to signalsmedia.com.
Portions of the sound effects and music heard on this show can be found at incompetech.com and freesound.org, y'all. You can find us outside of the show on our website, taurenThinkTank.com, which has all of our podcasts and information on how to get in touch with us, too. And you like Triple T merchandise, the shirts, the laptop cases, the phone cases, the mugs, all of this great swag that you can get online. You can buy it. You just have to go to taurenThinkTank.com/store.
You do. Thank you to all who support our show via Patreon. If you would like to help out Triple T, you can do so at patreon.com/TaurenThinkTank. If you would like to meet other members of the Triple T community, chat with them, talk about things that are going on in your life, join our Discord server, y'all. The quick way to get there is tinyurl.com/TTTchat2.
Spoken like a true daughter of the South.
Y'all.
You can also you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TaurenThinkTank. You can find us on Twitter at 140 characters or less, at Tauren Think Tank for the show, at Jules RPG for Jules, and at Mark Conan WoW for me.
That's true. I'm so tilted. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, chat room, for being with us tonight and hanging out every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time. You can find us on the video stream at twitch.tv/TaurenThinkTank. We love seeing you here with us, however you consume the show. Mark,
yes, we do. Jules.
Thank you for all the laughs tonight, my friend.
Oh, and thank you for that, too.
We'll see you next week, and we'll have our special guest, Nicole Duquesne, with us, so please tune in, 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time, twitch.tv/TaurenThinkTank. And we'll be back next week. So for myself, for Mark Conan, for the entire chat room, until next time, /moo, everybody.
/moo.
Y'all.
Tauren Think Tank. We make your problems less bad.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
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 My voice was starting to give out a little bit at the end there, so I was just like, oh, ask your doctor if Triple T is right for you.
Find out if once weekly Triple T is right for you. Side effects may include spitting beverages on your keyboard and laughter,
Snorting,
snorting, controllable fits of giggle fits.
lots of sweating.
Yeah, it is. It's very hot in here.
Draven Dresden. Good lord.
Naughty hotels.
Where's your real list?
And only a naughty hotel. Maybe one of them. They're naughty hotels. Right?
Where's your real
Naughty.
list? God damn it! There.
There we go.
These are funny. Frostmourne hungers. Yeah.
Let's see.
Rocket fodder's good.
Yeah, I like boss mode activated.
Boss mode activated. Yep.
Frostmourne Hungers, y'all, is good too. I like that one.
a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's our title, especially because we have the release of the Knights of the Frozen Throne, whatever.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm down with that one.
All right,
We can do that.
Yeah,
MacGyver.
the
I
drug
remember.
ads. I know they bugged the shit out of me too.
I remember when they like approved them, because before there were some laws to where you couldn't do that, but I think they like set some guidelines, and that's when you're like, be aware that this might have mild side effects like explosive diarrhea, and all the the shakes,
it may
the
result
shivers,
in heart attack, stroke, or death. And there's like this picture.
Artificial insemination. What?
And there's a
May
picture
cause
of
rectal
some
bleeding.
lady like dancing through a field of flowers. They're talking about rectal explosions. Yeah, it's just. You had to make a fake list. I know.
It's a good list. It's a good list, Raven. I love it.
I don't know if my mom and dad are listening. Let me see if my dad is listening.
I think my mom is listening because she was earlier.
Because when Solomio brought up the Poconos, I nearly spit water. Because that's like, I'm not kidding. That's like the thing that the parents would do when they'd go away for the weekend to get away for the kids. And you'd see the advertisements, and it would be this couple like drinking champagne in a bubble bath shaped like a wine glass. I'm not kidding. And it was like, those were the naughty hotels of the day. So I don't know if mom and dad are listening, but if they are, that's what was in my head when Marconi came up with this title or this topic. And I'm like, oh, naughty hotels. Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with naughty hotels. Like, everybody's got to get their groove on. But
they serve their purpose, but...
Yeah, they do.
Would you like to do the free upgrade for the jacuzzi room? Would I?
Mount Airy Lodge, that's it! Beautiful Mount Airy Lodge. Like, oh my god, I can hear the jingle in my head.
Oh, wow.
Go look it up. Go look it up from oh god, hang on.
I'm still looking at the Don Q, and there's like a bar, but all of the bar stools are like barber chairs. Like recliners for people, or they're like barber chairs.
Yes, this is it right here, right? No.
Now is the perfect time, and the season is just
this
right.
right?
You can play all day and dance into the night.
Are you talking about like the ad from 1989?
Yes.
Because I can't hear it.
Okay, hang on. No, I can't play that. Here.
For reservations, phone 1-800-441-4410.
All you have to bring is your love.
Oh my gosh, I have to log in. Hang on. Thank you, Vim. I have to play it through here. Hang on a second.
All right. Yeah, I've got the video, but I gotta change the settings so I can hear YouTube on these headphones. So I have like two pairs of headphones. One for casting, one for gaming. Oh, I do see the wine glass thing.
Yes.
It's
See,
it's
I
called
told
Naughty
you.
Hotel in the it's called Naughty Hotel in the Poconos.
I
Let's
told
see.
you it was existing.
Oh wow, this looks it's the Egyptian room or something.
Uh-huh.
That wow. That is something else. That is interesting. It's a wine glass tub. That's like 6 feet in the
I
air.
told you.
Okay,
I
we
thought
just
you meant like
arrived
it
in
was
our.
close to the ground. That is
I
that
told
is that
you.
is,
That is the
and
thing
it's
you saw.
overlooking and it's overlooking the living room. So like there's no privacy.
Well,
And then the heart-shaped
yeah.
heart-shaped
So
hole.
go to the video link that Bim sent, and then go
Okay.
and then choose the one under it if you guys are in the chat room. It's pretty funny. I tell you what, that is the thing that. So now you understand what has popped into my head when you said this thing about themed hotels.
Themed
It's like,
hotels, yeah.
People like themed hotels because they were naughty hotels.
I guess so. I mean, my mind did not even go that way. All right, let me listen to this 30-second ad. Brought to you by New York Telephone.
Yes, beautiful Mount Airy Lodge.
Wow. This commercial is something else.
I told you. That commercial played 100 times all the time. Like, I knew that theme song. I sang that theme song for you just now.
Yeah. Wow, that is something else.
So you knew when they were going to the Poconos, that's what they
Yeah.
were going to do.
More like the polka, yes.
Hello. Hello. The ad looks like
It
a
was
Caddyshack
there,
trailer.
okay? It was there. It does look like a Caddyshack trailer, Tiber. You are spot on right there.
Oh, that's too funny. It's I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like as a kid you were like, ew, those are naughty places. So we're not supposed to do that.
That is something else.
Oh gosh. The show was a funny show. Thank you for the laughs tonight, guys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, thanks guys. That was a good one. It's been a rough few days at work, so this is a nice
Change of pace.
change. Yes.
Well, we're gonna let you relax. I need to go rest my voice so I don't lose it completely. And we will talk to you guys next week with our guest Nicole. So
Yep, should be a good time,
it
folks.
should be great. We will look forward to talking to you guys then. And yeah, until then, /moo everybody.
Yep. /moo guys, have a great weekend.
/moo, yo!
Yeah.
Yeah.